Hi and welcome to the Studio Marco Primeau. Today we're gonna mix a song. It's gonna be a pretty long video, but I want to explain every changes that I make along the way. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you want me to explain further what I did and why, and of course, if you don't agree with some changes that I made, put that also in the comments. We're gonna discuss it together, and that's the best way to learn and get better at mixing. So let's dive in right away. So I created the project, loaded all the tracks. I did created some buses, so all the drum tracks go into that bus, the bass tracks goes there, and so on. I also colored them to be faster to reach the right instrument if I needed to adjust something. Some panning, some levels. Let's listen to how it sounds now.
In the Bible, and others find courage in a bottle. But when you're stripped of dignity, it becomes necessity to fight for your right of survival. So get up, shut up, and do something other than ripping on the people who be doing it for the love of the upbeat, the deadbeat, the hipped out hippie. Playing for me with the bucket on the street, said me and my crew.
Okay, it sounds pretty dry. And so now you have to decide what you do next. Some people will start with EQing and working on the drums and then the bass and so on. Other people will start with the vocals and put all the other instruments behind it if the vocal is the most important thing for them. But for me, this song was recorded in a single space live. And when I listen to the sound of the song right now, it does not seem to be in the same room. It seems to be in a dry place as they were recorded separately. So I want to put them in the same space. Let's listen to just a tiny bit again. You see, it's pretty dry. So what I'm going to do is add a reverb first to some of the tracks and try to feel the song becoming live in a live situation. So I already made an auxiliary bus named main verb. So I'm going to put a reverb on it. Whatever the reverb you have, most will sound good if you adjust them to fit the song. So try many and choose the one that you like. Today I'm gonna try to work with FabFilter Pro R, and I'm gonna start with the default settings but choose what I want to hear. So first we need to hear how it sounds, so we're gonna put it on a few tracks. So let's start with adding it to the lead vocal like this. And of course the back vocal, saxophone. We're gonna check if the keys would need it. Yeah, they are pretty dry too. So like this, the electric guitar. Also pretty dry. So like this. And we're gonna listen to the reverb alone first. So you're gonna hear too much, of course. The reason is you want to listen to the texture of your reverb, and if there's some frequencies or stuff that you don't like, maybe on the full mix you won't hear them, and then they affect the mix without you noticing it. So that's why I like to listen to it alone. Not bad. We're gonna listen to it in the mix.
Over the edge, do-do-da-da-do-do-da.
I like it. Of course, there's a bit too much, so what I'm gonna do is shut it down and then play the song and put it up slowly until I hear it a bit too much and then come back. So let's do that.
Over the edge, do-do-da-da-do-do-da. Once you're on the road, you're bound to go, you can't stop it.
I didn't put any reverb on the drums because there's some room tracks, chamber tracks, and those tracks might have their own reverb feel or recorded reverb live. So we're going to listen to them right now. And of course, the bass, I never put reverb on the bass. Maybe some bleeding on other instruments since they are in the same room will get a bit of reverb, but that's not very bad. So let's listen to the drums. Okay, this is very roomy. They called it chamber. I don't know what they did. A long time ago, what the engineers would do is they would put an instrument through a speaker in a separate room, which has a lot of reverb, natural reverb of the room, and they would put a mic there and record this. I wonder if that's what they did. But anyway, let's listen to Room, the track name Room. That's pretty dry. Okay, and then over mono. I like the sound of the chamber, but we're gonna work some EQs a bit later on because it's a bit dark and muddy. So on the rest, the room might need some reverb to sound like a room, but we're gonna check later if chamber is enough. To me, the ambience of the song is about right, and of course, at any point in the mix, I would focus on this again and reevaluate it. So let's listen to the song again a bit.
Hold tight, better hold tight. I'll be with you when you close your eyes, and long after I'm gone, the world keeps spinning, and as soon as it's over, it's just beginning. Beat so tight, but don't it feel nice when you blend it with the folk rock? Stick it in your pipe, smoke it, choke it, wash it down with soul. The words come second when it's all about the flow. I know I'm not the first or last white kid to try to rhyme, but let me marinate, I'm getting better with time. The road gets deeper to climb, so I'm setting my pace. And
so to me, the next step would be to clear things up. There's some fighting between instruments. A lot of them share the same frequencies and space, so we're gonna work on this. To do this, you have to focus on the old song and try to evaluate if some frequencies are too crowded or busy for all the instruments. And if you're not used to do this, you could use spectrum analyzer, and that's what we're gonna do to help you understand what I mean. So I'm gonna load this and we're gonna listen to a part of the song.
so I'm setting my pace, and I'm reading the signs, cause if this was a race, I would've covered my face in war paint. I'll be getting amped on DMX and Dr. Dre. I got the time to be lyrical, I'm afraid of the cubicle, and I'm just too addicted to this stage, man. I'm in the best band that you ain't never heard of. It's all the rock and who's so deep, I still can't get the.
So as you see, there's not a lot of energy below 50 hertz. So that might be something that we can check. Here around 100, 200 hertz, that's where stuff get muddy and lacks definition, so we need to check this as well. And the rest isn't so bad, so we have to clear some mid-low on some instruments, and we're gonna check that. I think there's a lot of high frequencies that we can regain on some instruments as well, cymbals, guitars. So that's where we are going right now. So let's start with the drums first. We're gonna listen to the drum alone and check the EQ again. See the 235, 94, and there's not a lot of energy on the top end, so we're gonna check this. Let's start with an EQ on the bass drum. So you see, I did remove a bit of the low mid, and I did add a bit of presence, so the bass drum will cut through the mix a bit more. We have another track, which is the bass drum out. So in front of the bass drum, they put another microphone. So we're gonna combine both, add an EQ on the other one.
Fake it.
Okay, so let's listen without the EQs. Okay, and I'm gonna check the overheads and rooms and those other mics that are further away from the drum kit.
Get them.
See, in this mic, we hear a lot of the snare, and it's a bit nasal, so I'm gonna try to remove some of those frequencies. This mic has a lot of bleeding in it. I think I'm gonna leave it alone for now. I'm gonna mute it and try to use the other mics first. again, I'm trying to get some clarity out of this because it's very messy.
On the track.
Okay, the drum fill, the toms also would need some love, so I'm gonna check the toms. Close all the EQs. So what I want to do is do a loop on one big fill, and then I'm gonna treat all the toms together. So this seems like a good spot. Okay. And we create a loop. Loop. There's a lot of overtone, so that's what we're gonna try to fix. See, about here, those frequencies sounds a bit like cardboard, so I'm gonna remove some.
So hold your breath.
Yeah, that's a lot better. So let's listen with. And without. With. Okay, let's listen to it with the bass. Okay, the bass is very low end. There's not a lot of presence. It is a good sound, but if somebody listens to the song on earbuds where there's not a lot of low end reproduced, they won't hear very much what the bass does. So we're gonna put again some more presence to the bass. Let's listen to it. Not bad for now. Let's listen to the electric guitars. Okay, and the keys. And now the saxophone. Okay, and let's listen to the whole thing without the vocals. Okay, let's check the vocals. Lead vocal first.
Do do da da dum ba da, dee da dum. Oh, do do da da dum ba da, dee da dum. Yes, but do do da da dum ba da, dee do do da da dum ba da, dee dum. Oh, do do da da dum ba da, dee dum. Yes, but do do da da dum ba da, dee do do da da dum ba da, dee dum. Oh, do do da da dum ba da, dee dum. Yes, but do do da da dum ba da, dee do do da da dum ba da, dee do do da da ba da, dee dum. Do do da da dum ba da, dee dum. Yes, do do da da dum ba da, dee. Down. Some find strength in the Bible, and others find courage in a bottle. But when you're stripped of dignity, it becomes necessity to fight for your right of survival. So get up, shut up, and do something other than ripping on the people who be doing it for the love of the upbeat, the deadbeat, the hipped out hippie. Playing for me with the bucket on the street, said me and my crew are gonna get through it. Yes, I said me and my crew, there ain't nothing to it. When the gloves are bought, I said me and my crew, taking you higher. I said I'm me and my crew, always there to inspire and push you over the edge. Do do da da do da, do da do da da do da, once you're on the road, you're bound to go. You can't stop it once you set it in motion. And through the ebb and the flow we grow. Cause what starts in the stream always ends in the ocean. And all along you keep your head above water. You gotta do what you gotta do to keep your legs churning. The humble hustle, we ain't flexing the muscle. We just pick up the shovel and let our work work. Cause when it feel like nobody gonna get your back. Better hold tight, better hold tight. I'll be with you when you close your eyes. And long after I'm gone, the world keeps spinning, and as soon as it's over, it's just beginning. beat so tight, but don't it feel nice when you blend it with the folk rock? Stick it in your pipe, smoke it, choke it, wash it down with soul. The words come second when it's all about the flow. I know I'm not the first or last white kid to try to rhyme, but let me marinate, I'm getting better with time. The road is deeper to climb, so I'm setting my pace, and I'm reading the signs, cause if this was a race, I would've covered my face in war paint. I'll be getting amped on DMX and Dr. Dre. I got the time to be lyrical, I'm afraid of the cubicle, man, I'm just too addicted to this stage, man. I'm in the best band that you ain't never heard of. Sort of rock and roots so deep, I still can't get the dirt off.
All right. At this point, you need to listen to everything and try to hear everything clearly. If something seems to be masked by another instrument, if something isn't clear enough, then you go and fix that in context of the song. Because if you make a bunch of moves on single tracks, you don't have the idea of the complete song. So sometimes guitar track may end up being very, very thin in the high frequencies and without a lot of bottom end, because that's what the track needs to cut through the mix and be heard well. So now I think that the drum is a bit clouded. If we listen a bit again.
Come necessity to fight for your right of survival. To get up, shut up, and do something other than ripping on the people who be doing it for the love of the upbeat, the deadbeat, the hips out hippie. Playing for me with the bucket on the street. Said me and my crew are gonna get through it. Yes, I said now me and my crew, ain't nothing too bad when the club. Always there to inspire and push you over the edge. Do do da da do da, do ya don't. Do do da da do da, do ya don't. 'Cause once you're on the road, you're bound to go. You can't stop it once you set it in motion. And through the ebb and the flow we grow. 'Cause what starts in the stream always ends. That's why kid. Who's so deep, I still can't get the dirt off. Hometown hero trying to make my people proud. Singing out love, you know I'm shouting it out. New England, you know it's kind of the same as the motherland. We just had the fresh in the name and never had.
One thing that I hear is in the lead vocal, there's some dynamics that change abruptly. So sometimes there's a word that we nearly don't hear and other words are a bit too loud. So I'm going to add a compressor there. Let's listen.
Down. Some find strength in the Bible, and others find courage in a bottle. But when you're stripped of dignity, it becomes necessity to fight for your right of survival. So get up, shut up, and do something other than ripping on the people who be doing it for the love of the upbeat, the deadbeat, the hips out hippie. Playing for me with the bucket on the street. Said me and my crew are gonna get through it. Yes, I said now me and my crew, ain't nothing too bad when the gloves are bought. I said now me and my crew, taking you higher. I said now me and my crew, always there to inspire and push you over the edge. Do do da da do da, do ya don't. Do do da da do da, do ya don't. 'Cause once you're on the road, you're bound to go. You can't stop it once you set it in motion. And through the ebb and the flow we grow. 'Cause what starts in the stream always ends in the ocean. And all along you keep your head above what you gotta do.
The same thing goes with the saxophone. Sometimes there's some peaks that might be disturbing in the old mix. So I'm going to put a compressor on the saxophone too.
In the ocean, and all along you keep your head above water. You gotta do what you gotta do to keep your legs turning. The humble hustle, we ain't flexing the muscle. We just pick up the shovel and let our work. Cause when it feel like, nobody gonna get your back. Better hold tight. I'll be with you when you close your eyes, and long after I'm gone, the world keeps spinning, and as soon as it's over, it's just.
At this point, if I want, I could add some special effects, maybe on the lead vocal, like delay. If I do so, I will tend to lower the reverb and let some space for the delay. So let's try this. We're gonna play the song to get the speed.
In the ocean, and all along you keep your head above water. You gotta do what you gotta do to keep your legs turning. The humble hustle, we ain't flexing the muscle. We just pick up the shovel and let our work. Cause when it feel like, nobody gonna get your back. Better hold tight. I'll be with you when you close your eyes, and long after I'm gone, the world keeps spinning, and as soon as it's over, it's just beginning. Beat so tight, but don't it feel nice when you blend it with the folk rock? Stick it in your pipe, smoke it, toke it, wash it down with soul. The words come second when it's all about the flow. I know.
Of course, the trick is to listen to it too loud and adjust the sound of it, and then blend it well afterward.
Flexing a muscle, we just pick up the shovel and let our work. Cause when it feel like, nobody gonna get your back. Better hold tight. I'll be with you when you close your eyes, and long after I'm gone, the world keeps spinning, and as soon as it's over, it's just beginning. Beat so tight, but don't it feel nice when you blend it with the folk rock? Stick it in your pipe, smoke it, toke it, wash it down with soul. The words come second when it's all about the flow. I know I'm not the first or last one.
At this point, the mix is okay. It is well balanced between itself. After that, you can go further and be creative, add some character to some instrument. There's a lot of classic gear that are simulated now in plugins that will change the character of the instrument and maybe make it special in the mix. One thing that I like to use on the bass drum is a compressor. This compressor, Royal compressor. I don't know why it works very well on the bass drum.
And I'm not trying to be, it's trying to rock it this thing. It's time I'm taking you deep, so hold your breath and don't speak. Cause I'm gonna fake it till I make it in my 30s. Maybe not my best card, but I'm throwing. And I'm not trying to be, it's trying to rock it this thing. It's time I'm taking you deep, so hold your breath and don't speak. Cause I'm gonna fake it till I make it in my 30s. Maybe not my best card, but I'm throwing it down. 98 degrees better than the shit that's around. Cause if it ever get found on the mountains of material, won't you put me on a box of my gluten-free cereal? The imperial force couldn't stand on my way. I got
another emulation that I like is the classic EQ. This one on the bass makes wonders. So we're gonna listen to the old mix to get a good idea.
And I'm not trying to be, it's trying to rock it this thing. It's time I'm taking you deep, so hold your breath and don't speak. Cause I'm gonna fake it till I make it in my 30s. Maybe not my best car, but I'm throwing it down. 98 degrees better than the shit that's around. Does if it ever get found on the mountains of material, won't you put me on a box of my gluten-free cereal? The imperial force couldn't stand on my way. I got old man skills, call me get up the grade. So this is how you measure it. The rest of it's irrelevance to do it for the love, man. Now in my 30s, maybe not my best car, but I'm throwing it down. 98 degrees better than the shit that's around. Does if it ever get found on the mountains of material, won't you put me on a box of my gluten-free cereal?
Okay, so let's go back to one thing that we did at the beginning. See if the frequencies buckled somewhere, if there's too much of something. So this is on the old mix.
And I'm not trying to be, it's trying to rock it this thing. This time I'm taking you deep, so hold your breath and don't speak. Cause I'm gonna fake it till I make it in my 30s.
Okay, so you see that it does not deep so down at the low frequencies. Up to 30 hertz, we're on the 0 dB bar. And after that, if it drops below 20 hertz, that's okay. There's not a lot of systems that can reproduce those frequencies, and it will take some energy of the song while mastering, and the compressor could act on those frequencies, and we don't need to. After that, apart from this peak, which is 7.5K, the rest is pretty linear. And we have a drop in the high frequencies above 10K. So we could add some, or we could leave it like that, thinking that at the mastering it will be added anyway, and the balance here is okay. Because if you boost the high frequencies on one or two instruments just to have a nice frequency line, at the mastering phase, those could be too much. So if the balance is nice overall, then you can leave it like that. But would like to find where does the 7.5K comes from. And we're gonna listen to the vocals first, and maybe the electric guitar. Let's see.
Maybe not my best car, but I'm throwing it down. 98 degrees better than the shit that's around. Does if it ever get found on the mountains of material, won't you put me on a box of my gluten-free cereal? The imperial force couldn't stand on my way. I got old man skills, call me get up the grade. So this is how you measure it. The rest of it's irrelevance to do it for the love, man. Never for maybe not my best car, but I'm throwing it down. 98 degrees better than the shit that's around. Does if it ever get found on the mountains of material, won't you put me on a box of my gluten-free cereal? The imperial force couldn't stand on my way. I got old man skills, call me get up the grade.
Okay, so I think it's the drums. We're gonna listen to the overheads and room. We did add a lot. We did add a lot here, but what we can do is made it wider and deepen only the 7.5K.
Don't let it.
Okay, so let's listen again.
Maybe Maybe not my best car, but I'm throwing it down. 98 degrees better than the shit that's around. Does it ever get found on the mountains of material? Once you put me on a box of my gluten-free cereal, the imperial force couldn't stand on my weight. I got old man skills, call me get up the grade. So this is how you measure it. The rest of it's irrelevance. To do it for the love, man. Never for the hell of it. You never see me settling for any other way. And if you got a dream, don't let it.
So our mix is done. It is not perfect, but it has a nice balance. The frequencies are nice. There's a nice space to it. So the next step would be to send that to a mastering engineer. But since maybe you're on a budget, you might want to know what a mastering engineer do. So next week, I'm going to post another video with the same song, same mix, and we're going to simulate what mastering does to a song, what things that they check, how the space will change, and other stuff like that. So stay tuned for next week's video. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please click on like, consider subscribing, hit the bell to get notifications, put questions in the comments, and share my videos. It's always a great help.
Maybe not my best car, but I'm throwing it down. 98 degrees better than the shit that's around. Does it ever get found on the mountains of material? Once you put me on a box of my gluten-free cereal, the imperial force couldn't stand on my weight. I got old man skills, call me get up the grade. So this is how you measure it. The rest of it's irrelevance. To do it for the love, man.